I am super honored and so excited to be with you all today. Coming in, I'm beaming in from Big Sur, California right now. So, right here on the same coast, at least, same time zone. And we are in for a dynamic conversation today, and a conversation about meditation that's probably a little bit different than any way that you might have talked about or experienced meditation before. Because one of the things that I always say to people is that people think that meditation is about relaxing. Meditation is not about relaxing. Meditation is about becoming more alive, becoming more connected to your passions, more connected to your emotions, more connected to who you really are and what you believe in and what you're fighting for in your life and in our world. And so today we're going to drop into a really sweet space together. I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about meditation. We're going to have a reading. We're going to do a little practice together. And if you're somebody who doesn't meditate or thinks you can't meditate or you haven't tried meditation before, what I always say and what's right on the back cover of the book is if you can worry, you can meditate. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, because worrying and meditation are pretty much the exact same thing. So I'm going to get into a little reading here, and then we will go from there. And before we begin, actually, though, what I would love to see from all of you in the chat box, if you're willing, is to just type in one thing that you have to be grateful for today. And before you do this, because I know people are like with gratitude practices, like, oh, gratitude, I heard of this, cheesy, like whatever. Let me actually tell you. So the science behind gratitude is actually fascinating. And the gratitude practices, the reason why most of them don't work and why we try to write gratitude in our gratitude journals every night or every morning and we get bored, is because of one thing: we're too general. And so most of the studies about gratitude have found that gratitude practices that actually work to do what they're said to do, boosting your mood, helping with anxiety, helping with stress, the overall fulfillment and joy in your life, happens when you're specific about something that you're grateful for from this day. And so when you say, oh, I'm grateful for my life, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for this, after a few days, you're bored with that shit. Like, you literally, like, you're grateful for them, but you get bored with actually constantly talking about it. And so what you have the opportunity to do now is to think about one thing from today, one thing that you have experienced today, that you're experiencing now, or that you might be experiencing later, that you have to be grateful for. So all that being said, I'd love to hear what you're grateful for in the chat box. And Deb, I saw you already went, but you're welcome to do one more if you want. Anya, you're not excluded either. I want to see yours. Everybody's here. And let's see what you guys got. Is your name Nola? Is that your name? Yes? Okay, cool. Nola. So Nola finished a painting today. That's really cool. Actually, I'm sure that felt so good. Deb said, I watched a spider spinning a web. That's awesome. Oh, wow. Isn't it magical? So if you're just timing in, grass, oh, Anya said, the real gentle breeze coming in on my porch. That's perfect. That's so present. If you're just chiming in, hello, welcome. My name's Justin Michael Williams. We're getting ready to do a reading of the book and do a practice, but we're just typing in one thing that we have to be grateful for about the day into the chat box to kind of surround this space in the spirit of love and gratitude, which is especially important given everything that's going on in the world right now. So feel free to type that in at any point. Feel free to talk to each other in the chat box. It doesn't bother me. I don't think you're not paying attention. Enjoy the chat space. If you have questions come up, if you have comments come up as I'm talking, feel free to type them in. If you feel a little amen moment or like a yes, you can type it in. And I'm going to jump into the reading. And I see Meg said family, beautiful. And Jack says community. And hello, Audrey, welcome, welcome. You're not late, you're right on time. You're right on time. Welcome. We're all just typing in one thing that we have to be grateful for today in the chat box. So you can just drop into that space in your heart as I begin the reading. So the section of the book that I'm actually going to read today is the intro. And before I even get into that, I want to just show you guys something, because one of the things that I am, I don't know how many of you have the book already or not, but Audrey does. Okay, well, awesome. So one of the things, can you actually, Anya, enable my screen sharing? If you just hover over my name and allow me to screen share. One of the things that was super important to me about this book, about Stay Woke and putting this book out, was that It was a gorgeous book that showcased all different kinds of people, that felt inspiring and was beautiful enough that you would want to keep it out, beautiful enough that you'd want to have it on your bedside table, beautiful enough that you want to have it on your altar. So it wasn't just something that you put away, but something that you can live with and experience as, you know, a part of your life. And so as I'm showing you guys the screen right now, these are actually the pages on my desktop. So this is, you know, this is the cover of the book. Let's see if I can, oh wait, I don't have the cover on here. So this, hold on, I'm getting back. So this is one of the first images, an amazing Native American activist named Ray Zaragoza, just some incredible people who are doing great work in the world. And then this is the section that I'm reading from, this intro. And so as we go through the book, you will see that there are so many beautiful pieces of art opening each chapter, and lots of color and lots of, this is one of my favorite, "The Truth Will Set Us Free." It's the intro to the other chapter, and lots of amazing art that you can enjoy throughout the book. And I'll show you a little bit more of that in a moment as we get going. So let me jump into this reading. This is, to be honest, this is my favorite part of the book. This is the introduction. We close our eyes, and all we can see is a life we haven't started living yet. We can see the people we know we were put on this earth to be, and we all know that we were born to do something incredible. We can feel it inside. We can see the mother we've always wanted to be, the lover we've always wanted to be, the father, the entrepreneur, the dancer, the artist, the actor, the singer, the leader, and the relationship you've always wanted, the business idea you always think about. But we spend so much time sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the right moment. We sit and we wait because when we were younger, somebody told us, that dream you have, that dream is not for you. It's not for you because you're too fat or too old or too ugly or too gay, or you're not good enough, or you're too skinny or too black, or my favorite, people like us just don't do that. Whatever. They told us we weren't good enough, and we believed them. I have a confession to make. This is not really a meditation book. Yes, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about meditation, but if you came looking for your typical hippie type Zen meditation book, you're in the wrong place. This book is for people who are overwhelmed with obsessive thinking, for people who are dealing with so much anxiety and stress that they have trouble sleeping at night, for people who have felt ashamed, wounded, not good enough, silenced, or marginalized, for people who feel like there's something missing in their life but can't figure out what it is. This book will help you pinpoint that wound, heal it, and use it as fuel to live the life that you've always dreamed of. This book is about taking action. This book is about getting rid of that stuck feeling that's been gnawing at the back of your mind for all these years. But most importantly, this book is for us, for the people. For my Black brothers and sisters, this is for you. For my LGBTQIA+ brothers and sisters, this is for you. For my women who've had enough, this is for you. For my starving artists and workaholic creatives, this is for you. For my conscious entrepreneurs who want to make an impact, this is for you. For those who've been discriminated against for their otherness, this is for you. For my social justice warriors, this is for you. For my tree-loving planet savers, this is for you. And for all people of color and everyone who is woke enough to understand why I'm even pointing that out in the first place, this is for you. Throughout my last decade of teaching yoga and meditation, I've been blessed to work with thousands of people of all types of backgrounds from more than 40 countries around the globe. And everyone says the same things. I've tried meditation, but I can never stick with it. Or I just can't get my mind to slow down. Or I don't believe in meditation. And I understand why, actually. Meditation, at least the kind of meditation most of us have heard about, started with a bunch of men who were monks sitting in the forest. And to become a monk, you had to release and abandon your entire family, your friends, all of your internal desires, sex, passion, intimacy, and all of your emotions and needs, including hunger, thirst, and everything you loved. You had to renounce all of it, sit under a tree, and devote the rest of your life to spiritual practice to transcend the suffering of life. Sounds intense, right? It was. So intense that ancient monks had to use special techniques to help them abandon their worldly desires. The most powerful of these techniques, meditation. I need to break some news to you. We are not monks. We are modern people in a high-tech world. We have first world problems and shit to do. We got iPhones and social media, and we have emotions that keep us connected to our passions, dreams, and to one another. We have relationships, kids, jobs, long to-do lists. And if you grew up like me, overcoming systemic oppression, homophobia, sexism, depression, poverty, toxic masculinity, community disempowerment, racism, and trauma, you need a different type of meditation. One that doesn't pretend that your struggle doesn't exist. The reason why so many people try meditation and it doesn't stick is because they're practicing the wrong kind of meditation, a kind based on renunciation. This makes meditation feel like you're doing a chore or even being punished. And it can feel like your mind is going crazy with random thoughts and you have to force yourself to stop thinking all the time. Does that sound familiar? The type of meditation that I'm going to teach you in this book is the opposite of all that. And if you're someone who thinks that you can't meditate because you can't get your mind to stop thinking, I got some news for you. If you can worry, you can meditate. So let's begin our practice. That honestly is my favorite part of the book. And we go into a lot of detail after that about meditation and some stories and some beautiful things. But one of the stories that I want to tell you and not read to you before we practice is about 8 years ago, my grandmother, who I was very close to, got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and the doctors told her she only had a couple months to live. And when this happened, it was a huge shock to our entire family. My grandmother was 67, seemingly young, very healthy seeming. And she lived in Northern California. I was living in LA. And I flew home to the Bay Area to be with her. And when I walked into the door, she pulled me into her room and asked me a question that literally changed the trajectory of my entire life. She said, if you were in my shoes and you knew you were going to die in 2 months, what would you do? And I'm looking at her like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not dying. I mean, I'm dying, but hopefully slower than you. Like, but I'm like, what are you even talking about? And she just said, get quiet, get still, do that meditation thing you're always talking about. Put your hands over your heart and answer the question. If you were in my shoes and you knew you were going to die in 2 months, what would you do? I closed my eyes and I immediately just said, I would stop every single thing that I'm doing and I would record an album. I would do music. And the thing is, I had always wanted to do music ever since I was a little boy. But I never thought I was good enough because I let all the kids who teased me at school about being gay, I got bullied really bad at school, make me think I sucked at everything. And I stopped myself. Plus, I grew up in the hood in a home literally with gunshot holes on the outside of my house growing up, with domestic violence and alcoholism and a lot of stuff that probably many people on the call grew up facing or dealing with. And we all have our trauma. This is not one of the things I say, this is not the oppression Olympics. We all deal with our stuff. And when we deal with those things, we learn to cope with them. And we learn to adapt to be safe and loved in spite of those things. That's what we do to protect ourselves. You guys know this. And so for me, my protection mechanism was, I'm just going to be really smart and I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be really successful and I'm going to get out of here. And so I became the overachiever kid. I don't know if anybody else out there ever feels like their achievements are like attached to their self-worth. That's been my life work, is who I am. I'm knowing that I am enough, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. And so when my grandmother asked me this question, I had been living a life that looked fantastic on the outside. I had set up I went to college, got a full ride academic scholarship to go to UCLA, was out of the closet, living fabulous. I was driving a BMW. I lived 2 blocks from the beach in Venice. I'm saying this to you not to brag. I'm saying this to you because what I had done in that moment in my life, I had recognized, was I had built my entire life based on my desire to leave my circumstances as a kid, based on my desire to get out, not my desire to fulfill the purpose and the calling that was on my life. And so when my grandmother asked me this question, it woke something up in me. And I think a lot of us do this. We have, we try to change our external circumstances, hoping that it's going to change something within. Anyone else ever been guilty of that around here? Trying to new relationship, new job, new car, new hair, new this, new that, and then recognize Jon Kabat-Zinn, who endorsed the book and who's a great friend of mine. The title of his book, "Wherever you go, there you are." Right. And so we have to keep learning that lesson, that it's not going to be about the external. It's going to be about changing from within. And so ultimately, what happened, my grandmother asked me this question, and it woke up this thing inside of me that I thought was gone. And our dreams are never gone. They're just waiting for us, like they say in The Alchemist, to turn towards them and recognize them and say, I'm here. I'm here. Yes, I'm here. And it's been waiting for you. And so I'm so grateful to say that my grandma made me promise her that I would do it. And I did, because you don't break a promise to your grandmother. And my grandma and my family, if you read the book, you'll see we call her Baka. And the reason we call her that is not because of it's anything special, because I was really like a weird ass little kid. And like my parents were trying to teach me how to say grandma, and they would go say grand, and I would go grand, and they would say go ma, and I would say ma. They go say grandma, and I'd go Baka. So she became Baka and to our whole family, which I learned, this is really weird. I just learned this last week. Baka actually means grandma in Serbian, which means that I was like really channeling some stuff at 1 year old. And I'm half Middle Eastern, but I didn't know that. So anyway, the whole thing. But that's besides the point. What the point is I put out my album 3 years later. My grandmother didn't get to see it. She had passed away, unfortunately. And even though her passing was one of the biggest challenges of my life, it was one of the greatest gifts, because I put out the album, and instead of climbing up this mountain that was me fulfilling and living my life based on everyone else's expectations, I started living my life for me. Started living my life based on what I was really desiring to doing. So even though, her passing was so challenging, she really gave me the gift of living my life. And now my mission is really making sure that we wake that up inside of each and every one of us, whether it's about your art, whether it's about your relationships, whether it's about your body, whether it's about your money, whether it's about where you live. It doesn't have to be about finding your purpose and changing your job. It's these things that are inside of us that when we close our eyes, like I said in the beginning of the book, we can see, but we're not living yet because we're waiting for it to happen instead of stepping into it now. And so the true story is, and you'll see if you read my book and if you see the bio, anything, nowhere in the universe will you ever see something that lists me as a meditation teacher. Because the true story is I actually don't give a shit about meditation. And I know that sounds crazy, given that I put out a book on meditation. The only reason I teach meditation is because the thing that, and I've done every mode of healing you could possibly imagine, the thing that has helped me transform my life from being a little boy who grew up with gunshot holes on the outside of his house to being able to live this life where I put out my album, it charted in the top 20 of the pop charts next to Britney Spears and Taylor Swift. It was insane. And to just get on the world stage and then have a book and do all these things and be living this incredible life. And again, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying it because the thing that actually took me there was not what I was doing and all the little things, it was my meditation practice. That was the meditation practice is what made me have conscious relationship with my intuition, with my inner voice, to know how to guide myself when everyone around me was telling me what I wanted to do wasn't possible. It's how I knew what was right and what was wrong, what was fear and what was faith, and how to step in to a life that's bigger than our circumstances. And so that's why I teach this practice, because we all have this dream inside of us. And like I said, right at the beginning of this talk, meditation is not about relaxing. It might make you feel relaxed sometimes. Meditation is about becoming more alive. So with that in mind, let's practice. And if we have a little time, I might sing you guys a little song at the end too. So let's do it. So I would love for you all to find a comfortable way to sit to start. And by comfortable, I don't mean sitting with your ass all tight and your back straight and like all like this, like just like actually get comfortable. And so you don't even need to see me for any of this practice. So if that means you need to lay back, if that means you need to sit on the floor, if that means you need to like just like totally slouch, like all of that is completely welcome. Just give yourself permission to relax. And then I want you to find something in the room or the space that you're in. If you're indoor, outdoor, just find something directly across from you that's not the screen to look straight at, something that's not moving. It doesn't have to be anything special. It could even be just like a spot on the wall. And just look straight at it as we dive into this little practice here. And look at this point right now and try to keep looking at it without moving your eyes. Without moving your eyes. And now keeping your eyes focused on this one point to the best of your ability, I want you to notice, without moving your eyes, how far to the right of you you can see without moving your eyes. So we're expanding your peripheral vision. And notice how far to the left of you you can see without moving your eyes. And keeping your eyes on this point, notice how far above and below you you can see without moving your eyes. There's a little bird saying hi right here. So, and so just let yourself expand for a moment, left, right, up, down, noticing how far you can expand your vision. Take in as many colors and lights and textures as you can. Noticing that you can actually see a pretty expansive view of the space that you're in, all while keeping your eyes focused on this one point. And then notice as you keep your eyes focused and your vision expanding a little bit more with your breath, that what I'm asking you to do with your eyes right now is the same thing that I'll ask you to do with your mind in meditation. Go ahead and close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that now. And what I mean by that is in meditation, just like I asked you with your eyes to focus on a point and expand your peripheral awareness, in meditation, we'll often focus on a point, whether it's a mantra or your breath or some specific words or visualization or somebody's voice. We'll ask you to focus on that. But we're not trying to block out our thoughts and we're not trying to block out our emotions. We're welcoming them in just like we welcomed in our peripheral vision while we keep our focus gently on a point. So for the rest of this practice, I invite you, if you're comfortable, to keep your eyes closed. And if you want to keep them open, if that's not comfortable to you, you can do that too. Just keep a soft gaze on your eyes. Go ahead and place your hand over your heart, one over the other, right over the heart. This releases oxytocin into the body. And on the count of 3, I want you to exhale everything out of your system through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Exhale everything out through the nose and come to completely empty. And now slowly to my count of 4, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. And now just breathe normally. You can keep your hands over your heart if you'd like, or you can put them down if it's more comfortable to you. And we're going to continue the practice. And I'd like you now to do a visualization with me. And I want you to remember, as we're doing this visualization, that you have nowhere to go. There's nowhere to rush to. You can give yourself permission to just be here You can soften your body just 5% more, just 5% more, softening yourself. And as we visualize, I want you to remember that some people visualize or imagine with sight, meaning they see images in their head. When I say imagine an ocean, they see a picture of an ocean. But a lot of us don't see images that clearly. Some of us imagine with sound or taste or smell or touch or emotion. So just notice when I'm asking you to imagine that if you're not seeing everything clearly or it's a little fuzzy, you're not doing it wrong. Just notice what you do notice using all of your senses. Notice what you feel, not what you don't feel. Let's begin. I'd like you now to imagine yourself at some point in the future, any point in the future, a future version of you who is living the life of your dreams. You have the body you've always wanted, you have the house you've always wanted, you're in the relationships you've always wanted, you have the money you've always wanted. If it feels impossible, good, you're doing it right. Stretch beyond your circumstances. You could rub a magic lamp, everything is possible. What's showing up for you right now? If we don't think beyond our current circumstances, we'll never be able to live beyond them. So let yourself dream bigger. And notice in this vision, if you have multiple images kind of shuffling in your mind or things shuffling in your mind, see if you can land in one spot. Trusting whatever you notice is exactly what you're meant to see for this practice. Not forcing anything. And notice in this vision, are you indoor or are you outdoor? What color are you wearing in the vision? Is there anybody there with you? And what are you doing in this vision that even indicates to you that you're living the life of your dreams? What happened or what's happening or what's about to happen? Welcoming every emotion, anything that arises. And now I'm going to ask you the question, a question. And I want you to answer this question, keeping your eyes closed and in this sacred space. Answer this question using 1, 2, or 3 words, trusting the very first thing that comes to you. Here's your question. As you look at this future version of you who's living the life of your dreams, what energy do you need to cultivate more of in your life now to become that person that you see in your vision? What energy do you need to cultivate more of in your life now today to become closer to being that person that you see in your vision? What do you need? Whatever words it is that you landed on, just repeat them in your mind a few times to lock them into your memory for a moment. Whatever they were, there's no right or wrong answer. Just trust what you got. Now saying goodbye, just say goodbye to your future self for a moment, knowing you can always come back here whenever you need. And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. When you're ready, open your eyes. And keeping yourself in this soft space, I'd love for you guys to type into the chat box what words came up for you, if you're willing to. You don't have to, but what your words were. And Audrey, I'm curious if you'd be willing to unmute yourself and share with the group what your words were, if you would mind.
My words were space and time.
Beautiful. Space and time. Thank you, Audrey. And you said you have the book already, right?
I do.
Oh, so wonderful. Thank you, sister. It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Thank you for your book.
Thank you. Thank you. Space and time. Everybody else, I want to see you typing in the chat box if you want. Don't feel rushed. Anya, what about you? Do you want to unmute yourself? And Audrey, you can mute yourself again too, just so we have good sound. Anya, would you be willing to share with us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The words I came up with were assertive and calm.
Assertive and calm. I see that in the chat box. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. And I see Valerie has warm and peace, and Nola has structure, happy, and confidence, and Kristen has open space. Beautiful. Does anybody else want to unmute themselves and share? You're welcome to say hello if you'd like. No pressure or stress. Jewel says determination and confidence. Kristen, hey, what's up?
I just wanted to say thank you. I'm glad to drop into this space late and
right on time.
That's it. Yeah.
Right on time. Thank you. And beautiful with your open and space.
That was interesting. I actually know Audrey. And I had come up with space too, but I can't think of the third thing. So anyhow.
You don't need three. You don't need three. 1, 2, or 3. It was whatever. Some people have 1, some people have 2, some people have 3. So you didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, great. Thank you, Kristen. So let me explain to you guys what we just did. So what we just created was what I call in my book, your unique energy signature. And I want to describe to you how powerful this is. And I go into this obviously much more deeply in the book, but what we just did, it's felt probably simple to you guys. And for those of you who had your videos on, it's like, you can always notice like the smile on everyone's face when they're doing this practice. You all had a smile, and every once in a while somebody has a tear or something. And what we just did is I said, okay, here's who you are now. Here's little Justin with the gunshot holes on the outside of his house. And here's who you want to be. Here's who you want to become. Here's Justin with the album, with the this, with the that, with no freaking idea how the hell he was ever going to get there. So here's you, who you are, who you want to become. And notice I didn't ask you, what do you have to do to become that person? I said, who do you have to be? What energy do you need to cultivate in your life to become that? And this is not even like, woo-woo, law of attraction. Like, this is not even that. This is literally like, it's so practical in all of our lives, because if we're not changing at the level of being, then what we do, the way the external world shows up, it's just going to be the same. And we've done this in our lives. How many of you have been in a relationship with somebody, realized it was the wrong relationship, broke up with the person, took a break, got with a new person, and realized you were in the same relationship with a different person, right? Showing up again and again, same relationship, right? And this is what happens in our lives when we haven't changed at the level of being to show up for the relationship differently. And it doesn't just work in romantic relationships. It's in our relationship that we have with everything, our jobs, our careers, money, everything, social justice work, our art, and of course, our romantic relationships and with our family. And I really believe this as it relates to social justice. All of my work, all of the work that I do, and even the reason I write music and everything, is because it's about the internal work that we have to do to make the external world show up differently. And I say this all the time. We could defund the police, we can elect a new president, we can burn the whole damn system down. If we haven't done the internal work to show up for the world differently, we're going to rebuild the same thing all over again, just looking slightly different. For sure, we couldn't do anything different. And so this is what this work is about. It's about the internal work. And this is what meditation is about, the internal work that you will do for yourself to show up for your life differently. And when that happens, the same actions, you can do the same thing, but the result changes because it's coming from a different place within you, because you've changed at the level of being. And that's really what the big gift of meditation is. I list all the other benefits in the book, and they're fantastic. Makes you age better, makes you sleep well, makes you, all this kind of stuff. It's great, and I think the aging thing works. I'm 32. I think I'm looking okay. I think I'm doing all right. I'm just kidding. But but in all seriousness, there's all the benefits. But for me, the biggest benefit is this. If we want to change our world, the revolution starts inside, and it begins with all of us on every level, individually, collectively. So I go into the book with what to do with those words and how to meditate with them on your own. The main thing that I do in this book that was very important to me is I think as we're learning to kind of decolonize our wellness practices, one of the things that's happening is in the past in wellness, especially in the United States in particular, like what we've learned to do is always look outside of ourselves. We ask a guru or a teacher or a somebody, hey, can you please tell me what I need to be better? Like, can somebody tell me what to do? Can you give me a mantra? Can you give me a thing? Can you give me a practice? Can you give me a this? And that's fine sometimes. I'm not knocking that. But what we're missing is the guidance to go with it, because we have most of the answers inside. And so if we're always looking outside of ourselves to see what we need, you can see today, you guys knew exactly what you needed. And so I could have guided you on a meditation on peace, but peace would have been great for Valerie, but not so great for Audrey, right? Or I could have guided you on a meditation for power, but power wouldn't have been great if you needed calm, you know? So what do you need? And so the book, the way that I do it, and I think the reason why a lot of people don't do well with meditation is because they're trying to fit their life into this box of meditation that doesn't fit. Our lives are messy. And so what I offer in the book is more, the book's written kind of like a recipe book. I'm taking you through like you're cooking with me and my grandma. I used to cook with my baka a lot. And I'm giving you all the ingredients and telling you, here's what we're making, but you're choosing how much and how little to put in the, you're choosing how to make your own meditation recipe, including your own mantra, which is your unique energy signature that we created today. And it goes into a much more detailed practice in the book. So I'm super grateful to be here with you all. I will sing a little song for you guys before we close, but I feel like I would love to open up for a moment. If anybody has questions or Q&A, you can type them into the chat box, or you can feel free to unmute yourself and just ask me to just open up for questions if you guys have any at all about anything.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know you're very musical and you have an album and all of that. And I'm wondering, is there like, I guess, has music like influenced the way that you write about meditation at all, or the way that you produce meditation, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So I involve music in everything that I do. So what I was on before, when we did like book tour events in person, when that was a thing, like, which I was on for like 3 weeks before COVID happened. I was on a tour doing bookstores, but also doing high schools and colleges and in underprivileged communities, which was just the biggest gift of my life. Like my first high school was 3,000 kids. It was insane, but also amazing. And the way that I use music in all of my work and in all of my teachings is like this. So what a lot of people don't know is like gospel music, and I don't sing gospel music, but like gospel music, how it was originally used was, first of all, it started in slavery as like secret messages, and then it started getting used in church. And the reason why they used it in church was to prepare your heart to receive the message that was coming in church. That's why they used it, to like open your heart, because music gets us emotionally beyond the words. You don't even have to hear words. You just hear a little piano. Oh, you feel, right? And so like the way that I use music in all of my work is it's like the sugar that makes the medicine go down. It's like the preparation for our hearts to get into the practice. And so if you go on my Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that, I have tracks that I'm like singing, and I also have music for meditation. The book also comes with 50 guided audio meditations that I'm guiding, and a playlist with like music for meditation that you can access. And the last thing that I'll tell you guys, just because I was just talking about church, is I started something a couple weeks ago called The Kingdom, that is, if you could imagine if like church, Super Soul Sunday, and a TED Talk had a baby, like it's that, like all together. So it's like the place that we can come together where there's wisdom teachings from all over the place, not just a religion or one religion, where we can come together across divides, where we can build this bridge, because I think that's really what the world needs right now. And come and learn and have live music and be grateful and praise and blessed and call in and pray and do all those things without having to be religious per se, and also without having to conflict with any religion. So like you can totally be religious and use this as a supplement. And it's free, and it's every Sunday at 11:11 a.m. And so if you guys want to join us, I'll put the link in the chat box right now. It's totally free. There's no catch. There's no donation bucket passed around at all. Like, it's not that element's taken out. And we have live musicians come play. We have people sing. I do a teaching every week on something different. And I think this week is going to be on the power of anger and using anger in a healthy way in our lives, and the difference between anger and aggression. And so showing how we can use anger to be a force for good in our lives and to incite change. And so anyway, I would love to welcome you guys to that if you would like to come. But anyways, so yes, music informs everything that I do, Anya. And thank you for that question. Does anybody else have another question? And thank you, Nola. Oh, that was so sweet. I'm like super grateful for your comment there. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say how this time that we're all living in has become so heavy.
Yeah.
And it's nice to just have a respite of all of us are grinning ear to ear. So thank you for bringing that.
A little joy. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, this is the thing. And this is one of the things, Kristen, I'm so glad you named that, because we're living in a crazy freaking time, right? I mean, it's just crazy. And we're like exactly who's meant to be alive for this moment right now. And one of the things about meditation, and this is studied by UC Berkeley, Harvard, Stanford, one of the things that meditation actually does when you have a consistent practice, P.S., all that it takes to have a consistent meditation practice is 12 minutes a day. You don't need to do 30 minutes. You don't need to do 20 minutes. I mean, you can do extended practices, but 12 minutes is like kind of the minimum dosage that they suggest. But if you could get 5 minutes, even, that's fine too. But 12 is the number that I recommend. And what they have found and proven is that meditation, when you look at the doggy, I just saw Kristen's dog come in. Hi, doggy. what's his name or her name? Hi.
This is Willow, and he's barking
Hi.
out.
Hey, Willow. So Willow's like, how not happening? Anyway, if you mute us again, we'll be good.
Yes.
Kristen, thank you. So my point is, meditation is proven to actually make us more resilient in the face of challenges. And this is one of those words that we use all the time, like resilience. Like, what does that mean, right? So resilient meaning we have the capacity to hold the full range and full spectrum of our emotions. And so what happens to us now normally is like, we're okay feeling joy, we're okay feeling happy, we're okay feeling this, we're okay even feeling like a little bit bored sometimes. But if it's like fear, anger, anxious, we like push it down, it rips us apart, we like can't deal, we're having like such a bad day, like, you know, it kind of knocks us over the edge. And meditation, what it teaches you to do, and this is why I say it's not about relaxing, it's about becoming more alive, is it gives you the capacity to sit with whatever emotional current is coming up for you. You're practicing that. And so some days you'll meditate and you'll feel love and light and peace and the whole thing. And sometimes you'll meditate and you'll feel like shit. And it's okay, because what you're learning is to sit in that and recognize that it's just a storm passing over you. You know, and when there's a storm passing over you, what do? Like what we normally do in our lives, if our storms are our emotions, is we're like yelling at the storm, like, leave, like, you know, like trying to make it go away, like just blow it. Let me pull tarot cards, let me call my friends, let me do everything I can, like to work myself up so like it will hopefully go away. Meditation is like, okay, there's a storm, umbrella, I'm good, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, because that's really, you just gotta let it go. You gotta let it pass. And so the practice teaches us to have that capacity, which in this moment in the world, this is what we're needing. We're needing to be able to show up in the messiness and not get completely like blown out of the water. We're needing to have our anger activated a little bit without having to like completely flip out, you know, but be able to hold it and go, okay, what am I feeling? Woo, that's a lot. You know, now what am I going to do with it? And so this is one of the things the practice offers us as well. So thank you for bringing that up, Kristen. I thought that was important. Let me grab my guitar. And unless anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. Let's see.
I I have one more if y'all don't
Go
mind
ahead.
taking up another question.
Do it.
I was wondering how you think this book could help those who are like currently protesting against systematic racism. I know that's kind of like a heavy
No,
one.
I'm so glad you asked me that. I'm so glad you asked me that. Oh my God, Audrey, shit gets better. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. That is one of the favorite songs on my album. And unfortunately, I'm not playing that right now because I don't know how. I don't know how to play, but I'm playing a different song. During quarantine, I've been learning how to play guitar. When I was on tour, I had either a band with me or a guitarist or like tracks or something. But like when you're Zooming and you try to like play your track of your song and sing, it's like, sounds like bad karaoke. So I started learning how to play guitar. And that's the next song on my list, Audrey. So thank you so much for saying that. So for the people who are out there protesting and doing activism on the front line, here's how this practice helps you in so many ways. Actually, do I still have it open? No, I don't have it open. But I will share this with you while I say this. So this is some more artwork from the book. And the thing that I want to share with you as it relates to activism is what we have the opportunity to do differently than our ancestors have done in this work. Ancestors live like familiar or not, is we get to show up and take care of ourselves in the process and not burn ourselves out in the process. Because we need our leaders bright and centered and not flipping out. We need them so strong and centered that they can lead in times of chaos. We need them so centered in their values and rooted that when things get crazy, that we can trust following their guidance, knowing that it's taking us on the right track. And so I have a couple practices in the back of the book called like Radical Change Starts Within, and a self-care practice for activists, like specifically breathing practice is what you do to make sure that in those moments, whether you're stressed or not stressed or getting ready to go out or not go out or trying to recover from activism work or not, here's another one of my favorites. This one is my favorite one, to be honest with you. That you have a practice that connects you to that thing and that place inside of you, that no matter what uncertainty is going on in the world, because the world is so uncertain right now, that connects you to that place inside of you that's endless and infinite, the place that is immovable and unshakable. And we can't just expect to have that place show up for us automatically. Like we have to practice being in relationship with that space so that when things gets crazy, we know how to get there. If we don't even know really what our center feels like, or we only know what it feels like when we're having like complete bliss, then how can we stay centered when things are crazy? You know? And so the book, the last half of the book has tons of practices for anxiety, stress, trouble sleeping, self-love, confidence, perfectionism, anger, and social justice and activism and change. And so that's the whole last like 30 pages of the book. So thank you for asking that question. You guys are going to hear the sound change a little, change just a little bit so that I can play for you. Cool. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah? Okay. Anything else before I sing a little bit to you all? No? Awesome. Well, I love you guys. I'm so grateful to be here with you, to be beaming into Oregon. Feels like a really important place to be speaking into right now, given what's going on in the world. And just adjust myself here. So I had us kind of imagine ourselves going into the future a moment ago. And now what I'd like you to do with me just for a quick moment is hands over the heart, eyes closed if you're willing. And imagine a younger version of yourself, a childhood version of yourself. Any age, any point. And notice with this childhood version of you, what are you wearing? What are you feeling? What expression is on your face? What kind of environment did you land in? Is it happy, neutral, sad, indifferent? And knowing that no matter how much we meditate, how much we work on ourselves, how many books we read, or how much we accomplish in our lives, there's always going to be that child inside of each and every one of us who just wants to know that they are enough. That they are enough not just for what they do, but for who they are. And that we're not going to give up on them. I'm not giving up on you. I'm not giving up on you. So we'll sing this song as a prayer and an intention for the child inside of each of us who just wants to know they're enough. This is I Am Enough. The words to the chorus are, I am enough, I am golden baby, yeah. So if you want to sing along, you're welcome to sing along. Let me actually just adjust, this hood is bothering me, sorry. I am enough, I am golden baby, yeah. Can you guys hear the guitar? Yeah. Little boy, don't cry. You've been in pain enough. No. Little girl, don't hide. You're finally safe enough. One day I'll look into your eyes, show you you don't need to hide behind disguise. No. Spread your wings, you're terrified. Don't be afraid, you're born to fly. I'm by your side, yeah. I am enough. I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Oh, I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Oh. I am enough. I am enough. Oh. Little girl, it's alright. You've taken the blame. Enough. No. Little boy, don't hide. You've been ashamed enough. One day I'll look into your eyes, show you you don't need to hide behind disguise. No. Spread your wings, you're terrified. Don't be afraid, you're born to fly. I'm by your side, yeah. I am enough. I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Oh, I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. No, I am enough. I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Oh, I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. Listen up, say you are enough. You are golden, baby, yeah. You are enough. Sing this with me for your childhood self. You are enough. Come on. Here we go. You are enough. You are golden, baby, yeah. You are enough. That's right. I'm looking at all of you guys and even your names and I can't see your faces. One more time. You are enough. You are golden, baby. Yeah. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are golden, baby. Yeah. You are enough. Last time, we're gonna go till we are enough. We are enough. We are golden, baby. Yeah. We are enough. That's right. I see you singing. We are enough. We are enough. Oh, we are golden, baby. Yeah. We are enough. All of us. We are enough. We are enough. No, we are enough. We are enough. We are enough. Oh. I am enough. You are enough. We are enough. We are enough. We are golden, baby. Yes. And no matter what you're going through in your life right now, really, no matter what you have in your bank account, no matter what trauma you've been through, no matter who you love, no matter what color your skin is, no matter what's happening, I just want you to know that you are enough. You are worthy. And all you have to do is do this internal work, just a little bit, 12 minutes a day even, to start saying yes, 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 to the life that you know you were born to live. My name is Justin Michael Williams. I love you guys. Thank you so much for making time in your day to hear my voice. It's really an honor and a privilege that I don't take for granted. And thank you, Grassroots, for having me. It is an honor.